I'm Bill Adams, resident stage director for the San Diego Opera. Our general director is in New York now, casting for next season. But some of the board members have met here in the home of Mrs. Lionel Rideout, who is our production committee chairman, to discuss some of our future opera plans. And we're also here for a very special reason, to watch the preview of a brand new opera film that was made by the San Diego Opera and KQED in San Francisco, one of the largest and most prestigious educational television stations in the world. And we feel flattered and happy to have this association. We're delighted to have Mr. Herb Sider with us, a producer from KQED, and he brought down the print that we're going to watch at this time. I perhaps should tell you that the film is a part of a special music series to be shown to elementary school children in the Bay Area. But we have hopes that it is going to be so exciting and entertaining and informative and colorful that it will be of interest to people of any age. And so we cordially invite you to watch this preview with us now. Okay, I think we're ready. If you'll come on over. Make yourselves comfortable. Get ready for the film. We'll lower the house lights. We'll turn on the projector. And we'll have another one of those experimental adventures with the San Diego Opera.
Hey, why aren't you kids with your school group?
Oh, we aren't going to the opera. We're in the opera.
Yeah, that's right. We don't come in until the middle of the first step. So we stay out here until the opera starts.
Gee, how did nice kids like you get stuck in an opera?
No, sir, we like it.
Yes,
it's fun.
Now, that's hard to believe. Say, what do you do when you're in an opera anyway?
Well, first you rehearse for weeks and weeks in the rehearsal. Yeah. There are more than 300 of us in Aida. There are kids and dancers and the chorus.
And the solo singers?
And, of course, actors.
In opera, actors are called supers.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the conductor. He keeps all the music together.
And there's a accompanist who plays the piano before we get the orchestra.
And then there's a stage director who tells us what to do.
And where to go. He tells us where to go, all right.
Aida's such a big show, they call it Grand Opera. So we had to start working with our props really early.
Yeah, really early.
Props
are all the things you have to use on stage, like chairs and daggers and stuff.
Yeah.
In Aida, there's all the loot that the Egyptians win from the enemy when they go to war.
There are lots of dances in Aida, too. The dancers worked right along with us in getting ready. It was so exciting to move into the theater for final rehearsals. We sat in the auditorium while the director talked to us about what to do in the theater.
And what not to do.
Yeah. And the principals and star singers, you know, sat on the stage and listened. Aida sang her first aria in Street Clothes.
An aria is just a solo song, you know.
Everything started getting really wild.
Wow.
But you could see how the whole plan was working out. After a few days, it was time for technical rehearsal.
That's when you use all the lights and scenery and all the other stuff.
And that's when we get to put on the makeup.
Oh, that's the worst part.
In Aida, we had to put it all over our bodies to look like Egyptians. After all that hard work, opening night finally came. It was so glamorous, with all the ladies in their gowns and furs. And the theater was just beautiful.
But the student performances were even more fun.
Yeah, the kids are groovier.
If they like it, they really let you know.
And if they don't like it, they really let you know.
Yeah.
The performance was real smooth. After the orchestra played the overture, Rodimus,
He's the lead tenor.
yeah, he sang his first aria. And the way the audience liked it, we knew everything would be all right. The explosion in the temple scene came right on cue. The dance scene in Princess Almira's room, the one we worked on so hard in rehearsal, was just perfect.
But the biggest scene of all was the triumphal scene.
That's when the tenor, Rodimus, you know, comes back after winning the war.
Everybody knows the march from Aida, but it sounds even better when you can see all the scenery and all the people in costume. And you can kind of connect it with the story.
Yeah. Our conductor told me that Verdi is the greatest Italian opera composer.
Well, I don't know about that, but when everybody got on stage and they released the does the piece, I felt like I really knew what opera was all about. It's such a good way to tell a story, you know, with music.
It sure sounds complicated. How do they ever put it all together?
They start planning really early. I had costume fittings a long time before rehearsal started. The costumer has to fit hundreds of costumes for an opera.
Before that, she meets with the director to plan what the costumes ought to look like.
And the director has to plan the scenery with the designer and the builder.
They make models to be sure everything works right.
Then they build the scenery in the shop. It's more expensive than building a regular house.
And the special effects man gets to work.
Hey, you kids are putting me on about liking opera.
No, honest, officer. The Tosca production we're in is even more fun because it's voice of a scene just for ourselves.
We do. It's really amazing, man.
No, honest. We worked on our choir boy scenes for a couple of weeks. The hardest one to do is where we give the sacristan a hard time.
The sacristan's a kind of church janitor in Italy, you know.
The choral director made us sing our parts over and over.
And the stage director made us act it over and over, too, to get it perfect.
Right. The other scene, where we carry candles in the church procession, was lots easier to do.
When we moved into the theater, it started being even more fun. You know, being with the principal singers and seeing all the stage action in the right order so you can kind of get the story better.
Tosca has a really good story.
And Puccini's music is so pretty.
Puccini wrote the opera in Italian, but we're seeing our production in English again this time.
That helps you understand everything a lot better.
to practice that procession over and over and over.
One of the most interesting things when you're in the theater is to be backstage. You can see how all the scenery fits together and how the stagehands shifted around from one setting to another.
And it's fun to see the backstage band practicing.
The crew works at all kinds of different jobs. I like to watch the stage lighting best.
Don't forget the sound effects man makes a cannon noise in the first act.
Boom! And Howard Stein taking movies of everything.
Yeah. Our opening night this week went great. The audience loved us.
And they loved Tosca's first love duet with the tenor, especially the kiss.
Yeah.
They did.
Our procession went swell, too.
The kids aren't in the last two acts, so we could watch the neat scene where Tosca kills Scarface.
He's the bad guy.
In opera, you get all the things you get in TV and movies, plus the music.
And it's more real because the performers are really there.
It's really alive, you know?
That sounds pretty exciting, all right.
That's nothing. You should have seen our American premiere, The Young Lord.
Yeah, that was really good.
That opera had everything.
Yeah, jugglers and dancers and a trapeze artist.
I played a midget.
You are a midget.
And don't forget the monkey.
And the strongman, a fiery and 3 trick dogs.
And a goat.
And 3 horses and carriages.
And a rainstorm.
It was really something.
They see the man who wrote is one of the greatest living composers.
His name is Hans Werner Henze.
I think he's German, but we did The Young Lord in English, too.
I like it because it was so funny. You know, operas don't have to be serious.
Because this opera's so complicated, we had even longer rehearsals at the theater.
The makeup really got complicated. You see, the young lord's supposed to be a monkey in disguise. So the singer who acted the role had to put on makeup like a nobleman first. Then he had to be made up like a monkey over that. Then he had to put on a mask made like the young lord so that he could take it off and be a monkey again.
Did you repeat that?
Well, I said it was complicated.
The first scene is in the square of a little town. We were school children who came to sing a welcome to this rich lord that was coming to visit.
There was a band to welcome him, too.
It was really something for the audience when the coaches came on stage with real horses.
Yeah, and it really cracked them up when a goat got out of one of the coaches.
And dogs got out of another one.
And Begonia, she was so good.
I wish I owned one of those dogs.
The scene ended when we all had to run for cover when the rain started.
The circus scene was better than the real circus.
Yeah, and more happened at the same time, and it was all with music.
I loved it when the trapeze artist came down from the top of the proscenium and danced.
The proscenium is the picture frame of the stage, you know. The auditorium holds 3,000 people. The backstage has to be almost as big for all that stuff that goes on.
I thought the library scene was fun. Do you remember when the monkey was dressed up like the young lord and came down to the party and made a knave of himself?
The dancing was so good in the last scene at the ballroom.
But the biggest shock of all was when the people found out that the young lord was a monkey.
Well, now I know why opera is such fun for you kids to be in, but what I can understand is why an intelligent adult would go into such a rough profession.
Oh, I can tell you. When we were doing Don Quixote, Michael Devlin, who played the lead role, was just sitting around on the sets one day. And do you know what he told me about that?
As a vocation or an avocation, I think it's wonderful. I think the whole music field is wonderful. The performing arts, the whole field of opera, television, movies, recording, symphonies, I think it's all wonderful. I think there are a great bunch of people involved in it.
Don Quixote is my favorite opera. It's about this funny old guy who's so crazy. He's always going around fighting windmills, thinking they're giants. But he tries to help everybody and fight their battles for them.
Yeah. His fat old servant is Sancho. He hates the way people are always putting Don Quixote on.
Right.
Yeah. The story's kind of based on a Spanish novel by Cervantes.
But a French composer wrote the music.
Yeah, it was Massenet.
Our company did this one in English, too.
You see, Don Quixote's in love with this girl named Dulcinea. He thinks she's in love with him, too. And at the end of the first scene, he sings a serenade to her.
When the stars gleaming countless number, and the night veil enshrouds the sky, when the earth falls in rest and slumber, here do I breathe my breath to your eyes. To your eyes I sing my song.
Don Quixote is real jealous of Dulcinea, and he fights a duel with Juan over her. But she comes out and stops the fighting.
She gets Don Quixote to promise to go out into the country and find the bandit chief that stole her necklace. If he gets it, she says that she'll marry him.
After a lot of adventures, Don Quixote really gets the necklace back from the bandits.
When Don Quixote brings the necklace back, she tells him that she's not good enough for him. And when she leaves, the whole crowd really lets him have it.
The death scene was real sad. Some of the girls in the chorus cried.
You can always tell when an opera is put on right. It's when everything you see and everything you hear make the story come alive.
When you really feel it and believe it, then that's real opera.
Well, I see the students are all over in the theater. You kids had better go on backstage. And I've got to get back to work. You know, I still think you're crazy to like opera, but good luck in your performance just the same.
Okay.
Goodbye now.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Well, at least later.
Give me 2 of your best opera tickets for Saturday night. I don't want to miss one thing that goes on behind that proscenium you've got in there.